Welcome. These sessions will be recorded. I'm pleased you could join us for the Business Education and Resilience webinars with 1917. My name is Pauline Markward. I'm the Executive Director of the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce, which is made up with members with common interests and concerns related to the business environment in the Bowie area. It's primary professional trade organization in the Greater Bowie area dedicated to the protection, enhancement, and success of Bowie businesses. The Bowie COVID-19 Business Recovery Assistance Program delivers online technical assistance to help Bowie businesses accelerate their post-pandemic economic recovery. This program is a collaboration between the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce and the Bowie Business Innovation Center and funded by the City of Bowie. During this webinar, it is best to be comfortable with your video on. Remember to mute yourself. Ask questions through the chat unless otherwise directed. Welcome, William Eric Linzey, Senior Business Counselor with LLC.
Hey, Pauline, how are you? Thank you for having us here again. Glad to see you. Glad to see everyone here. Hi, attendees. How are you? Well, we made it, Pauline. We made it. This is webinar number 24. This is the final webinar. And this is where we take our time and we pretty much tie everything in. So what I would like to do is I'd like to share my screen. And I am going to start the presentation. All right. So today, after 24 webinars, this is after 23 webinars, this is webinar number 24, we're gonna sit and tie everything that we've done from since January all the way to today. So it's been a pretty fast 7 months. This is like June, and we're now in July 1st. So it's been a pretty fun, exciting 7 months doing this project with the team members. And Pauline, thank you so much for helping the chamber put this together. Great work on your part, I have to say. You went through a lot to put this together, so I can only imagine what you had to do in the background to tie all this together. So thank you, Pauline and the chamber, for doing this. So with that, my name is William Eric Linzey. I'm a business coach, and I'm also an accredited business consultant. I own my company called 1917. I'm an independent business coach. And today's Thursday, July 1st, and that's my logo for the company. And my contact information, I'll share that with you during the webinar. So again, this is I want to do a quick recap from January all the way to July today. July 1st, 2021. So when we started, this was a programmatic and a systematic way of doing these webinars. So from webinar 1 all the way to 12, and then we went back and started with 1, and now we're doing number 12 again. So we want to start off with we're going to talk a little bit about the goal setting and monetizing your goals. So a lot of us go into business and we start talking about, the reasons why we go into business and the reasons why we take this huge risk in changing our lives and changing the lives of our family and friends and loved ones. That, we're either moving out of employment and then we're going to start our business, or if you're lucky enough or very, very fortunate enough, never be employed and actually just go directly into business. And I think sometimes that might be the best way to do it. But we always start with setting a goal. So, you take the time and really think about what are your goals? What are your personal goals? Where do you want to travel, for example? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to see? Who do you want to see? Who do you want to spend time with? And then you have your financial goals. Do you want to make $100,000 a year out of your business in revenue? Do you want to make 200,000? Do you want to make $1 million? Monetize, and you wanted to have those financial goals so that there's a sort of like you're monetizing that goal. And when we talked about this webinar and goal setting, we talked about using the SMART system, specific, measurable. You guys know the rest of it because, of course, it's recorded. You can go back and take a look, and that's what we would love for you to do. Go back and review all these webinars. They're on the Bowie Chamber website. So you definitely want to be able to achieve these goals, make them realistic, and make them under T for time. You want to make sure that you can actually do it. So the idea there is to plan out your goals. If you want to make $1 million in 2 weekends, well, is that really achievable? Is that realistic? Is it, 2 weekends is time constraints, but is it realistic? So you certainly want to have a really good conversation on setting your goals for yourself and your business, because in the end, sometimes when you're working in your business, it becomes who you are, it becomes part of your DNA, it becomes, this is what I do on a day to day. So you want to create those goals for you and your family. Then at a certain point, you want to say, okay, well, if I want to travel once a year with my family and friends, and well, put a dollar value to that. Okay, let's just say it's $5,000 or $3,000 just for a 10-day trip, for example. Um, then you want to monetize those goals, because when you build your business will pay you, and you want to earn a salary from the effort of growing your business. So you certainly want to monetize your goals in that way. And it's so important because those are the things that keep you going and those are the things that keep you working towards your goal. Obviously, your why is so very valuable. You're going to have days that you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, why am I doing this? And you better have an answer, because if you don't, you're going to go back in bed and you're just going to sleep the day away. So you certainly want to understand the deeper meaning of your why. And why are you doing this? Why are you getting stressed out? Why are you working 90 hours a week to hopefully maybe work only 10 hours a week? Maybe that's one of your goals. So during that goal setting and monetizing your goals in terms of that first webinar, those are some of the things that we talked about. Having a structure in terms of writing down these goals, which is so important, which is part of your business plan. So once we start writing down these goals, the next level of this is sort of start planning your business. So in the business planning webinar, both of them, in the first one, we were talking more about the structure of what a business plan looks like. And when I work with clients, I have, I think, over almost 30 different areas that I touch on in writing a business plan. And every business plan is different. Every business is different. You can have two barbershops with similar business plans, but their business plans could also be very different. Different target market, for example, different revenue goals, for example, different location, geography, completely different business plan, because it's a different business owner. And they are individuals who actually have a different way of looking at their business and at their life when they set their goals. So you certainly want to at least write it down. Write down your business plan. There's a lot of ideas in terms of the 1-page business plan, the 2-page business plan. I like to write business plans so that when you go to a bank, if you want to get a bank loan, or if you want to have an investor invest in your company, you certainly want to present a well-rounded, well-defined, robust business plan. I don't look at pages, for example. I just look at structure and what's the information you're providing to the reader, and are they being enticed to invest in your company? And actually, I also look at the business plan as the business plan is actually for you. You write the business plan for you as the business owner, so that you can actually have a way so that you can have your documentation, you can go back to it, review it, check it upon your actuals, and update your business plan on some time basis, whether it's a monthly basis or even a quarterly basis or maybe once a year basis. But you certainly want to go back and update your business plan over a certain period of time. But the main takeaway here is to get it in writing, write your business plan. And in the second webinar we did for this, about a few weeks ago, but maybe 2 months ago, we actually went into a software that I also use with clients. It's called Lifeline. So this is an online tool where you can actually just work with whoever you're working with on your business plan, and you can share it with others, and you can do real-time edits on your business plan as you write it. There's a financial projections module in it as well. There's the entire structure of the business plan is there as well. You can edit the structure, you can add sections to the business plan, you can do different things to the business plan. and is also like a pitch deck. You can actually export your business plan. So really it's a tool that we talked about in the previous webinar as to how to start writing your business plan and how to access it and where where the business plan could be found in an online software environment. So go back again and take a look at those webinars, and there's a lot of information that was shared there. So one of the other topics that we talked about was financial literacy. So one of the things we talked about here is know the lingo, understand cash flow. What does that mean? Understand break-even analysis. What does that mean? Understand, profit and loss, balance sheet, all those forms, understand what it means to have credit, for example, understand what it means to fund your business and what are some of the things that go into that. Understand some of the ratios that are used in business to measure success in your business from a financial perspective. Accounts receivable, for example, accounts payable ratios, for example, little kind of like elements of your dashboard. So like, it's kind of like when you're driving your car, you have your dashboard, your odometer reading, you have your speedometer reading, you know how fast you're going, you know how far you went. Understanding the financial literacy in terms of the lingo is really understanding what your dashboard is in your business. It's figuring out, what do I need to know in my business so that as I'm working on my business, as my business is traveling down this road, what are some of the ratios or the financial numbers I just need to look at that will gauge where my business is at any given point in time. So you definitely want to understand the financial literacy of what's going on in your business in that sense. And then we went into actually getting into your numbers, know your numbers, the financial literacy part of knowing your numbers. This is where we go deeper into what is profit and loss? What does that profit and loss sheet look like? What does your cash flow sheet look like? What does your balance sheet look like? Those things that the trifecta of your business in terms of what each of those bring to your business and the need of having those in your business. So we went in, Charles Mott actually went into a lot of that conversation for both the financial literacy aspects of it. We then shifted to financial projections. This is about growing your numbers or grow your business, grow your numbers. Financial projections. What are some of your sales projections? If this is the first, if you started your business on day one, today is the first day of your business, you should have, through business planning, because of your industry research and your market research, you should have a good idea of what that product or service that you're providing. You're providing a solution to individuals who are going to buy your product or service. You should have a good idea as to what your projections will be. I would like to make $200,000, but what do I need to do to get there? Is this realistic? How many people do I need to talk to and then convert at a certain, average dollar sale to get to my numbers? What's my overhead? What's my tax base rate? What are some of the management costs that goes into my financial projections? So we went deep into looking at financial projections, and Manny Cosme of CFO Services talked a lot about the financial projections aspect. And we also had a 2-day session on QuickBooks, how to use QuickBooks, how to manipulate the QuickBooks so that you can actually get these reports from the data that you as a business owner or your accounting team or your bookkeeper enters into the QuickBooks system. And we had a 2-day class on that, and it was a well-attended class. I would say, Pauline, that was probably one of our higher attended webinars. I think we had over 60 people over the 2-day span into those classes. But as you know, we got hit by COVID last year, and it was we call that the year of COVID, and a lot of things were shut down. A lot of businesses ran out of business, and the federal government actually stepped in and provided PPP and EIDL loans, government loans, and some of them turned into grants. But we had Mr. Roderick Johnson from the SBA. If you haven't heard of him, I'm surprised because he's everywhere in our region, in the Northeast Mid-Atlantic region. He works for the SBA. He's a federal program manager there, working on the PPP and the EIDL program. And we had him on two different occasions. And those both of those programs changed a lot, probably within weeks. Much of the regulations changed. Much of the way people can apply and people can ask for forgiveness on those loans have changed. So it was sort of like a moving target, and we were very grateful to have Mr. Roderick come in and sort of just really give us his deep insight into those two programs. And if you ever want to go back and take a look at those, again, they're recorded. Just go back and review a lot of the information there. The reason why we did the PPP and the EIDL at this particular juncture is because much of the application process required having your business set up with the financial literacy in place, with your financial projections in place, your cash flow, your balance sheet, your profit and loss sheet. You needed to have those in your business, which is why the QuickBooks training was so important just prior to the PPP and the EIDL program discussion. A lot of the applications required to have those documents in place. And I've worked with a number of businesses who had them and they were fine. We can download, we can prepare the documents, submit the application. And I've also worked with businesses who really didn't have that information at all. They really weren't checking their books on a monthly basis. So we worked with those folks to really get their businesses up and running on a financial literacy and just a basic accounting sense, and having them prepared not just for the PPP and EIDL government loans because of, again, COVID, but also for the future. Trying to build those financial habits and doing these things, doing your data entry maybe once a month and having those habits and knowing your numbers and understanding the impact of your numbers on your business, because you want to be prepared for certain governmental loans if that's going to be the route that you're going to be seeking funding. And then we had Catalina Gomez, great chef. She's a chef, and she knows how to manage many things in the food industry, not a restaurant, but in the food industry. Everything, think of a restaurant, but she also did a lot of things in terms of like mixed drinks, for example, frozen foods, for example, how to get those to market. And we were lucky to have someone like her talk about specifically and kind of highlight the food industry and ways food industry pivoted during the pandemic. And a lot of those things were applicable to the small business industry that we were presenting to, because I also worked with a lot of businesses. Well, we all did, all the counselors, we worked with businesses to understand, how do you pivot, not just in the pandemic situation, okay? The pandemic really forced a lot of business owners to rethink their business, and how do you actually, pivot and then thrive and survive in what you're doing because of the negative impact of, again, you either have to shut your business down. We basically had to for like 2 weeks in the beginning. And then how do businesses continue to survive during the pandemic? And the food industry, as we all know, took a huge hit as a result of the COVID shutdowns, and the shutdowns mandated by local jurisdictions to shut down, as recommended by the federal government and the federal agencies. So some of the key highlights there was, if you want to see how your business needs to pivot, we go back to the business plan. We go back to understanding, what does your business actually do? So one example, very early on in the pandemic last year, was I was actually, Carolina was on that webinar as well. We did it for another organization, and there was a gentleman there who owned a transportation company. So he had a limousine company, and because of the shutdown, the gentleman was sort of panicking in terms of, well, what do I do? I don't know what to do, and how do I do this, and how do I pivot? Well, understanding your business differently. Are you in the limousine business, or are you in the movement of things business? Understand the business that you're in. So that really gave him a great idea to say, oh, wait, now I'm thinking of it differently. I'm not picking up people in a limousine anymore. I can actually, get food to people's homes. I can actually do different things with the vehicles that he had. And I think it was maybe a few months after that we found out that he was still in business, and he was actually, still running his business based, and he just shifted his focus from picking people up to actually providing a service to other areas, because that's the business that you're in. So when you think about the food industry and what happened there, take that to, again, understanding the real business of what you're in. For example, what's a good example? What was another good example that we worked on? Let's just stick with the food industry. For example, the food industry, some of the restaurants, they had to shift to food delivery. Sometimes they had limited food delivery prior to COVID. However, they probably went and did a few things differently. They changed their menu, okay, differently. They served different types of food. Yeah, some businesses actually created food brands. They created spices that can go on grocery store racks. You're in the food industry. Even though you're a restaurant, you are still in the food industry. You can create something that could create a different revenue stream. But this all comes from looking at your business plan, understanding your goals, understanding your planning, getting into financial literacy, looking at your projections, understanding these basic concepts. You have you have the power to really make these changes in your business, even if you want to pivot right now. Let's just say we didn't have COVID and you wanted to add a different revenue stream. You go back to your business plan. That's kind of where that's my home base right there. And then you certainly understand where are some of the other opportunities in your business, because when you write your business plan, the SWOT analysis is also important. So you definitely want to look at the other opportunities in your business and see where you can actually, create another revenue stream. For example, consulting companies. I know of some consulting companies that were focused on business. They actually shifted to the individual. They went from B2B to B2C, and they actually created it sort of like a resume and career helping or career coaching type services. Are you in business development? Yes, but or business coaching and business consulting? Yes, but you're also working on businesses to grow, which can easily shift into helping someone maybe find a job and helping them develop the interview skills, for example, resume writing skills, or even working on their resume, for example, or creating a personal website for that individual, a self-branded website that matches the resume. So there's a lot of different things you can do. Think about your business differently when you try to create another revenue stream. Then we had Dr. Terry Levin talk about marketing. This too, Pauline, was another highly attended webinar, I think, and both of them. Then when we had Dr. Terry Levin here, again, all I can say is go back and take a look at her video. She's outstanding. She gave a lot of amazing information on sort of getting clients into your pipeline, getting qualified clients into your pipeline. She really focused on again understanding who your target market is, and sort of like the lexicon of how their lexicon, so that you can reach out to them, and certain structures you should have in your business so that people can actually come to you versus you chasing people down. Just a lot of great nuggets there, and what Dr. Levin has in her videos, and a lot of opportunities to join her Facebook group, at no cost. And she does a little bit of teaching there. She does live webinars on her Facebook group. So that's someone that, you can definitely go back and look at her videos and contact her if you have any information that you want to grow your business in the marketing side. Then we had Kessie Stribling. She talked about managing you and your team in terms of self-health, the health of your team, different ways of keeping your team, your employees, your team members, because they're the ones who are interacting with your customers on a daily basis. They're the ones who are representing your company on a daily basis. Take care of them. plain and simple. Take care of them. And that's what Kessie was focusing on. And obviously take care of yourself, like a CEO or business owner, health tips as well. But as the saying goes, a healthy business owner is a healthy business. So that was one of the things, one of the takeaways we all got from Kessie's presentation. So one of the things she would say is, try to be interactive with your team. Have like a Netflix movie of the month, for example, and maybe at the end of the month, have a conversation on that particular show or series that you and your entire team can take a look at. And that's more of an engagement process with your team members. And this is something that Kessie always talks about, and not in her consulting world, is looking at it from that perspective. Because again, we're the business owners, as we all are, but how do you manage your team so that when they are the ones who are interacting on a day-to-day with your customers and your clients, they're the face of the company, how do you ensure that they're okay and they're connected and engaged with your company and your mission and vision values, for example? So there's a lot there that Kessie gave, and there's a lot that we can take away from that in terms of sharing that knowledge and working with our team members. So as you grow your business, we talk about your equity and valuation in your business also grows. Think of it as a home. As you, for example, maybe remodel your kitchen or add a deck or add a pool or finish your basement or upgrade your bathrooms in a house, obviously the equity and the valuation of your house improves. It's the same thing in your business. So you definitely want to keep adding value to your business, not you business, but to your business. The one way that we talked about doing this, and I did the presentation on equity and valuation, the one simplest way, I guess, to do this, and this is just one example, is put systems in your business. So if you have, the question during the webinar was, if you have $1 million of your own money and you were to invest in either a systemized business, quote unquote, a franchise, right off the shelf, turnkey, plug it in and you can run. If you can invest in that, or invest in a business that's just doesn't have any systems in there, which one would you invest your money in? And most people correctly said the franchise business, or the business that had systems in it. Create systems, because the minute you invest $1 million in your business, you're buying that system. Turnkey, go ahead and make your next million. If you go the other route, investing in a business that doesn't have any systems, like what I mean by systems, I don't mean IT systems only. I also mean SOPs. How do you make coffee? How do you make a burger? The how-to of the business. How do you hire people? How do you fire people? How do you manage your accounting system? How do you, basic things like, what do you, the 10 steps for when you close the store? Those are all how-to systems. Those actually improve on some level the valuation of your company. Because when people invest in your company, they're looking into, well, if I'm going to buy this company or invest in this company, what do I have to do? The less you have to do, the more valuable. You can look at it from that perspective. The more valuable your company can be. So you want to, and also keep your debt low. We did talk about the debt. Keep your debt low. Keep your cash flow high in the business. That also helps in terms of equity and valuation of your company. And then grow your company. Obviously expand. If you can, even if you have an idea, getting things patent at the Patent and Trademark Office, those are things that add equity and valuation to your company. There's a lot of things that you can do in the company, in your company, to sort of improve that equity and valuation. So if someone offers you $1 million right now for your company, the other question was, would you accept that? Well, sometimes you got to think about that. Why is someone offering you $1 million? Well, what is your valuation? Go and get a business valuation. Just like someone says, hey, I'd like to offer you $300,000 for your home. And even though you're like, oh, my home's worth a little bit more than that, how do you know? get it appraised. Just like in business, someone offers you $300,000 for your company, get your business appraised. Get a good report to figure out what is the true value of your company, and then you work from that point forward. And then we had uh, Mr. Ardo Powell on some tax strategies, and he was here last week, I think it was. And one of the things that he talked about, and this was my biggest takeaway with the recording is there, but Ardo, one of the things that he talked about, one of the biggest takeaways there was, look at your business as an asset. And from that perspective, how do you protect your asset using pretty savvy IRS codes and pretty savvy financial codes through the insurance policy strategy. Ardo's video explains it all, and I'm probably going to mangle it for him. However, he does the one perspective that he made all of us look towards and change was your business. Handle your business as an asset. Okay, approach it as an asset, and how do you protect that asset? Now, if you're a solopreneur, same concept. How do you protect your business as an asset? And I think one of the examples that he gave that sticks out in my mind was it's like disability insurance. And again, go back to Ardo. I can't give you that advice right now, but you have to get your financial advisor and your tax specialist to actually provide this to you. But again, one of the examples is, if you have key man insurance, well, let's just say you're a solopreneur and you don't have insurance that protects you if you become ill, if you can't work. You're still taking cash out of your cash flow to cover your overhead and to cover your expenses, even though your revenue isn't coming in. So to cover you being out of the business, even though you're a solopreneur, you're hurting your cash flow. So your asset is actually, your valuation for the asset's actually getting less and less. But if you have a key man insurance or some kind of insurance policy that manages your asset, your insurance policy on the business will take care of that unfortunate issue. So your cash flow isn't being hurt. So again, look at that video and give Ardo a call and to sort of talk a little bit more deeper into that particular topic, because it was a fascinating way of looking at your business. It was a fascinating way of looking at your business as an asset. And you can either appreciate that asset or depreciate that asset. You definitely want to appreciate that asset. And it combines really well with talking about equity and valuation. Because again, equity and valuation does have an asset, a component there. That is the asset. So when Ardo provided his webinar, it was perfectly timed and it was perfectly on point about looking at your business from an asset, or even your organization as an asset, and how do you protect your asset as the entity itself. And then finally, on this recap, we talked about exiting your business. Firing yourself is what I call it. How do you fire yourself out of your business? We started with goal setting, we started with business planning, we started with financial literacy, marketing, looking at different revenue streams in terms of pivoting, managing your team and improving your business as an asset, and looking at tax strategies as through the asset perspective. Now we're talking about exiting your business. We're talking about the next phase of life, the next phase of what you're going to do as a business owner. And one of the things that we talked about there was, how would you exit your business? And we talked about 5 different ways of doing that. We talked about, could you, well, more than 5, I think it was more like 8 or 9. Could you sell the company outright? You've built your business, you have a general manager, you're spending 5 hours a week on the business at this point. You want to go do something else. Do you sell the business? That's one option. Or do you just combine different options of maintaining that business? Could you retire from your company? Could you be a consultant to your own company? Doesn't matter what kind of company you have. Could you just take a backseat role in your company? Could you bring in other investors in your company and sell the percentage, a different percentage of that company for you to be a majority owner or a minority owner in the company. So there's a lot of different ways you can look at exiting your company. What's very important about exiting your company, and I would also say the tax strategy of your company in terms of the asset protection of your company, is to start from goal setting. So we go right back to the beginning. When you start writing your business plan, start thinking about the exit. What is your exit plan? Once you hit your goal, then what? What are you going to do? Are you going to branch out? Are you going to do another company? Are you going to rebuild your company and maybe duplicate it in a different part of the world or something like that? What is your exit strategy? So start thinking about that now versus when you're forced to execute your exit strategy. And that is something that you certainly want to have up front. I think when you're an employee working for another person, some companies actually, on the day you sign up, the day you sign your letter accepting your contract and all that, they immediately put you in a 401k plan if it's available. They immediately put you in that plan, and that's a retirement plan. But that's on day one. As a business owner, what is your retirement plan? Write it down. Put it as part of your business planning exercise. Put it as part of your down the road tax strategy. Implement those things, from day one. Think about your options. Think about what you would like to do before it's forced upon you. And there's not much clarity there when things are forced upon you. So certainly, you certainly want to have those considerations in place in your planning. So even though I gave a recap and I touched on a little bit of the areas, and I wanted to get some key highlights from all of the webinars, the next step is always creating your own action plan. So I want to go to the next slide. And again, we're talking about tying it all together. But before I move on, is there any questions, Pauline, in the chat room? Or does anyone have a question? Cool.
I think it's okay.
Oh, I didn't hear you, Pauline. I'm sorry.
We're good with questions.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. So that was the recap. That's where we are. And I hope that was very helpful in terms of reviewing and maybe jogging your memory in terms of, oh yeah, I remember that. Just, I always recommend people just write it down, go back and write those notes down. So in terms of tying it all together, I want to talk a little bit about a process for tying it all together. I kind of call it my 1-year action plan of action, or 1-year action plan. So where do you vision yourself a year from now? Okay, where where do you see yourself a year from now? This says March of 2022, but today is July 1st. So where do you see yourself July 1 of 2022? Write that down. Write it down. I just can't, it's as simple as that. There's a reason why you write it down. We talk about the business planning. Well, this is part of your goal process. Write it down. It doesn't matter where you write it, on your whiteboard, on Microsoft Office. Write it down. Make sure you document it. Then start thinking about, for your vision, start thinking about what will it take to get you there? What is it going to take to get you to your vision from 1 year from now? And we're talking about a business vision here, by the way. Do you need to do more sales? Do you need to do more marketing? Is there financial literacy you need to have? Is there something that you have to do to get you there? Do you have to take a class? Do you have to work with someone? Do you have to hire someone? What are some of the things that you need to do to get you there? This is more of the conversation of a SWOT analysis, I would say, in terms of what will take you to get you there. And of course, we plan. Putting it together, start planning. What's it going to look like a year from now? Just go ahead and start planning for it. So when we talk about planning, you plan your day. So what is it that you have to do on a daily basis to get to your day 365? So once you're able to plan your day, you can actually start planning your week. Once you get good at planning your week, I guess you know what's coming up next: monthly, quarterly, and yearly. So certainly this is very important, because if you look at your yearly plan, you have major vacations or major holidays that are in your yearly calendar. So start blotching those out. Start marking, well, this is July 4th weekend coming up. America's Independence Day. Write that in your calendar for next year. Are you taking an extra day off? All that stuff. What are your vacation days for the year? Okay, I'm going to plan a quarterly vacation. Maybe every quarter I take 5 days off. Give me a 5-day weekend. Okay, monthly basis. What are the things you do consistently on a monthly basis, right? And so you want to start with your day though. What are you doing from 8 to 9, 9 to 10 on a daily basis? Again, this is what's gonna make you plan your success towards getting where you need to get to. And again, we talked about writing your 1-year plan. This is the part that some of us don't do for a lot of reasons. Share your 1-year plan. The way I think of it is, try telling a child or your nephew or your niece, or like when my kids were much younger, I would say, hey, we're going to Disney. The very next day, the next question to me was, hey, when are we going to Disney? That's called accountability. I've shared with them a vision. I've shared with them a goal, even though it was probably like 6 to 8 months away. They were like, oh man, 6 to 8 months away. Every day, hey, are we closer? Are we getting to go to Disney? That's accountability. Your kid, they kept me accountable. Hey, you said you were going to take us there. This is the same idea. It's, you find individuals and you find people who are going to not bug you or harass you in that sense, but with love, keep you accountable. Have the right people in your group that's going to keep you honest and accountable. The people that you trust, that you can grow with them and they grow with you. People that you feel that will enhance your life and believe in your mission and vision. Not the people who will knock you down. Don't bring those folks into your circle. Don't do that, because we've all experienced that. But you want to find those people that's going to look at your vision and say, yep, that's cool. What do I need to help? What do we need to do to help you? What do you need from us? How can we serve you in that sense to help you get there? And that's so meaningful. That is just touching to have, and it's needed. So don't be afraid to share your accountability, your plan, your 1-year plan. By all means, I highly recommend it. Share it with people who share your vision, and they will push you and they will guide you to get there. I can talk enough top. I can speak in this topic for a long time, because it's very meaningful. I get emotional sometimes about it, but because it means that much. I mean, someone who is on your side, and they weren't going to bug you, but they're there for you. Like, hey, I got this resource for you. Let's keep going. And then you push each other as a team. So find your accountability group. Find those folks who are gonna push you. And sometimes, really and truly, you got to look in that mirror, and that's the person who's going to push you the most. You got to have that personal willpower to get you there. And this is a challenge for all of us. Okay. So, being realistic, have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people in your group that will push you and to get you there. So share your accountability, share your plan, share your 1-year plan, because you never know, they might be helping you to get there. So do that. So in terms of tying it all together, I'd like to give you a possible template. This is just a recommended template. Again, I go back to the previous slide was about process. Now I kind of want to give you a little bit of math and an example of kind of how this works. So like I said, where do you want to be by July 1st? Where do you want to be next year? Right? Doesn't matter. Now, when I say where do you want to be, whether it's your personal life or your business life, that sort of kind of comes into one. It sort of combines into one thing. So definitely plan SMART. Now, if you see SMART, I actually added an extra R there. And my R is repeatable. If you can do this once, you can do it again, and maybe with an increased percentage of effort to say, well, okay, I'm going to increase. I did this once. I'm going to do this by 10 more percent by next year. So you can repeat that plan. The other part of this is I want to reverse engineer your your process. This is just a numbers perspective. So let's just say, for example, if your goal is to be plus $200,000 a year from now, well, how do I get there? Okay, let's just say you're selling widget X, or you have a product or service that has an average sale of $10,000 per unit. That means that you have to have 20 new sales between now and then. So within a year, you gotta sell this 20 more times. Now, let's just say that your conversion rate is 30% or 3 out of 10. So what does conversion rate mean? For every 10 people I speak to, for every 10 qualified people I speak to, I'm going to channel my Terry Levine here from her marketing class. For every 10 qualified prospects you meet and you speak to about your business and about this sale, 3 out of those 10 actually buy your product or service at $10,000. So what does this mean? To get to 20 at 30% conversion, you need to talk to it's actually 66.6 or 66.56. You need to actually talk to 67 qualified prospects at a minimum throughout the year. So do you guys see how we got that number? So you need 20. You need 20. You only convert 30% out of 3 out of 10. You got to speak to 67 of those folks, qualified prospects. Qualified prospects. I'm going to emphasize it's not just anyone, but your target market, your specific target market, who's in the market to buy your product or service at this level, at that $10,000 rate. You got to convert them. You got to convert 60. You got to meet 67, then you got to convert out of this 67, convert 20 of them. So now you reverse engineer your process. Okay. How many people do I need? How many qualified prospects do I need to meet per week or per month? And what do I need to do to improve, to take in those clients so I can service those clients correctly so that they can stay with me and your business grows in that regard? So we're talking about business growth. And at some point, you also want to talk about scaling your business, and that there's a growth part. Then there's another phase that actually talks about your ups and downs of sort of like the growth pains, I would say. And then you get to a point where you start to scale your company. So you definitely want to understand what's happening in your business. Can your business consume 20 more clients? What is it going to take for your business to address your current clients plus, or your current customers plus 20 more? Check your business processes. Do you need to enhance your sales team? Do you need to enhance your marketing? Do you need to work with a business advisor or a business consultant or a business coach? Or do you need to talk to your tax person? You need to go back and redo your projections, right? The idea here is determine where in your business you must make enhancements to sort of absorb this growth. Right? Do you need to change your point of sales process? Right? Can you have to look at the entire business. Once your business grows, your processes need to grow to absorb that growth. That's essentially what I'm really saying here. Then plan that out. Certainly plan what you're doing, because again, we go back to SMART planning up here, then just execute. Things are going to shift. Things are going to change. Things are going to pivot. Be flexible. Make sound and quick decisions. Make the decision is what I'm saying. Make a decision. Make a quick, fast decision based on your planning. based on your goals, based on your financial literacy, based on your systems, your business plan, make those decisions, and then just run and implement. So I hope you're writing down your goal. This is the last webinar of 24. So I'm pretty excited. I'm sad, but I'm pretty excited because I really truly had a lot of fun doing this. And I'm hoping that all of you here and everyone who's going to watch this in the recording, write down your goal. Where do you want to be on July 1st? Or where do you want to be 1 year when you watch this video? Because you might watch it next week or whatever, or 2 months from now. Whatever that date is, where do you want to be and what do I need to do to get there? Right? Can my business absorb this growth over the next year? What do I need to do to ensure that I hit this number? If that's your goal. And this is a very simple conversion tool that I use with my clients to do financial and sales projections. This is just one, this is like 10% of it right here. But this gives me, there's a lot that goes into this, a lot of analysis that goes into these numbers, but you certainly, there's a process there that I use to get to understand realistically what this is, what the conversion rate is, what the goals are, and what your average dollar sale is. There's a lot of analysis that goes in there, but this is just a basic tool just for now, so you guys can have an idea of kind of what it looks like to sort of execute your goal. What does it look like for me to get this done in 1 year? And then again, share that plan, share it with your team members, share it with the people in your accountability team, and just do what you have to do to implement it and then get there. So again, like I said, this was fun for me and my team. And I have, this is the team that I put together, that really did a lot of the presentations. I didn't have Pauline's picture in there. I did have one, but I didn't want to I didn't want to use that one because it was actually a pretty funny picture. But I just want to say, again, Dr. Terry Levine, the marketing, great video. This woman's amazing. She just watch her video. It's really cool stuff. Mr. Roderick Johnson, really cool guy. Busy, very busy individual for me to have him for 2 of the webinars. He was more than happy to do it as sort of like a service, as part of a service to our country. He works for the federal government. So he did a really awesome job in putting that information together on the PPP and the EIDL. Ardo Powell, tax strategy, and looking at your business from an asset perspective. Great insights. I was really happy to have him be part of my team. Manny Cosme, owner of CFO Services, he did the QuickBooks and QuickBooks training and talked about financial projections. Carolina Gomez, the food industry expert, I keep saying this, not the restaurant expert, a food industry expert. She's a chef, but she's very, very well versed in the food industry, has a lot of experience in the food industry, talked about the pivoting of food industry, and she's currently working with many restaurants in the DC area, DC, Maryland, Virginia area, to sort of get them back on their feet now that things are starting to open up. Charles Mott, I call him Sir Charles, talked a lot about financial literacy. He and I go back many years, and we do a lot of work together with different clients and doing things together. A wealth of experience he brought to the team and wisdom. So I definitely appreciate him being here. And then Kessie Strebling, again, she talked about taking care of your team, and great consultant. She's been in business for, I think, over 20 years, successful consulting agency across many parts of the US, and just having this entire team, and that's me up in the left-hand corner here, just having this team together to work with you, Pauline, on these webinars just has been great. And I want to say thank you for doing that. So my gratitude to the team, and my gratitude to the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce, and sort of trusting us and putting this together. So let's see. Yep. So again, with that, I want to say thank you for attending all the webinars. If you've been here for all 6, I'm sorry, if you've been here for all 24, congratulations. If not, that's okay. You can go back and look at 24 on your own. Again, I thought thank you to the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce for putting this together and selecting me, my great team for doing this. But I also want to say that every time you watch these videos, I want you to go back and write down what were some of your top takeaways. What were some of the what are the one, two, or three top things you need to do, and then how are you going to get those things done like right away? Don't just write them down and say, well, this was my top takeaway. Okay, great. Now what are you going to do with that? This is the action plan part. You know, my top takeaway is, for example, I need to have QuickBooks. Great. Okay, well, go get it. For example, what is write down your top takeaway and then do an action after that. Yep.
So,
So with that, I'm going to stop my share. And I really want to say, Pauline, thanks again. This was really fun. Honest to goodness, we met a lot of people. All the consultants met a lot of people. We connected with many of them, and you know, this is what we do. We all love what we do. I love what I do, and I can stay here for like another hour and just chit chat. But I know we're not going to do that. But this was so meaningful in terms of this is what I do for in my business. This is what I do in a day to day, and I just love it. I just love it. There's a lot of heart and emotion that we all put into these webinars, and I hope you guys can feel it because I just have a love for it. I really do. I just love seeing people help each other out, and then we grow our businesses because it's a struggle. Honest to goodness, day to day, you know, waking up and saying, "Oh, I got to do this again." Yeah, let's do it again. Come on, let's go after it. Let's go get it, because we all need that. I need it. You need it. We all need it. And just having the right people on your bus, for example, having the right people on the bus, just moving forward is just a great feeling. And I just love being on the bus with folks who really want to move forward. So I just want to say thank you. I'm going to turn over to Pauline so I can shut up now. And it's just been great. I love doing this. So thank you, Pauline.
well, it absolutely shows that you love doing this. And for those of you who don't know, I've known Eric for approximately 5 years, going on 6. And we really just have done some amazing things together. And you were a perfect choice to lead these webinars. You built a fantastic team, the Chamber and Bowie BIC, with the Bowie Business Recovery Program. So thank you so much. Appreciate the City of Bowie. We couldn't have done it without them too. They funded us. And I am, as I'm talking, going to put up a poll. So it's the same questions, I know that, but we do use it to gauge how we're doing. So if you could take a few moments to answer the questions, that would be fantastic. And again, we need business plans. So again, recapping, and please watch our videos that are online on the Bowie Business Resilience YouTube channel. You can also find them on the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce website, www.bowiechamber.org, underneath the BBR tab. So again, thank you. And if you need anything, you can always reach out to myself or to 1917, the Bowie BIC. You can reach out to them too. So thank you so much. Y'all have a fantastic evening. And thank you for joining us for 24 weeks of webinars. Thank you. Don't be a stranger.